Welcome everyone to today's show. A Boomer and a Gen Xer walk into a bar, coming to you from the Rabbit Hole Studio, where you, as our listeners, will experience some wit and wisdom, some smart assery, and a mother and daughter questioning, are we even related? My name is Jane. My co-host is my daughter Bobby, and for I don't know, the next 20-25 minutes, we are here to entertain you. Bobby, what's going on, girl?
Not a whole lot today, but a little scared about the topic today because I don't know anything.
Well, that's not unusual on many topics for you. I hate to tell you this, but it is probably one that you have not been real familiar with. And we are so happy today because we have a guest on the show today. His name is Saed Ibsais, and Saed is a National Pickleball League player, and he is also my coach for pickleball, and he's here to talk to us a little bit about pickleball. Hi, Saed.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. This thing, whoever came up, pickleball.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And you know what's really funny is a lot of people think it's like new. It's not, right?
No, this was created in the late 70s. That's when pickleball was created, and it's been played secretly in a lot of different, retirement. It started with like a lot of retired folks just having pickleball playing every day just for entertainment.
Yeah, and so a lot of people initially, and I think it was initially for maybe the older crowd, because a lot of people go, oh, it's just for old people. We know better than that, don't we?
We do. And the last 5 years, it's just gone where it's not just for old people. Now you see people from the age of 8 years old all the way to the age of 88 years old.
Yeah, and actually the world champions right now are Anna Lee Waters. She's 17 years old. And 18, yes. Okay. And Ben Johns, how old is Ben now? 24 maybe?
25.
25. Yes. Okay. And so pretty young players. And, people think that it's just, you shuffle up to the net and you shuffle back from the net. And that's not really what goes on at all. So first of all, I want to know, Saed, how did you get involved in pickleball?
So about five and a half years ago, my friend, Shadi came by and says, hey, let's go. This place opened up. It's called Smash Park. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So we started going there, and we see these pickleball courts, and we're like, what are these things? You're like, oh, let's just pick a paddle, not a racket. So, so it took a while to adjust to that. And that's it. So we kind of invited, one of Shadi's good friends, and he came over, showed us the rules. And sure enough, we all got addicted. And we started playing a couple of times a week at Smash Park. And that just kind of, we'll start meeting more people that are just coming in and getting to know familiar with pickleball.
And I think that's what a lot of people find is it is so truly addictive. And, it is the fastest growing sport in the United States right now, maybe even in the world, because they're playing it everywhere, right?
They are, and you're starting to see like big names like Andre Agassi. He's getting involved with a lot of pickleball, and he's starting to do more. He played in the U.S. Open last week. He played with Anna Lee Waters in the pros. So you're going to start seeing a lot of big name tennis players coming in. Jack Sock is another player. Ivan Lendl. Those are the tennis legends that are now starting to kind of come in and play pickleball.
Yeah, and so tell us what it entails. Tell our listeners what pickleball really entails.
So what pickleball is about, I think if you have a lot of tennis or racket background sports. So for example, if you have tennis background, racquetball background, table tennis, you'd be able to kind of jump on the court and just start playing right away. And what that entails is, if you know someone that can teach you the rules, it's pretty easy. Once you know the rules, with the scoring. Scoring is a little tricky at the beginning, But once you know the scores, and once you know how to move on the court, there's, you have the kitchen, which everybody's like, what is the kitchen?
Right.
And you have, like dinking. And somebody says, what do you mean by dinking? So, and then you have, drives, which everybody knows from tennis. And then, there's areas where around like baseline court. But think of a tennis court, just a little smaller, uses the same net, and then with just a little bit lower than the tennis net. But other than that, and then just the paddle looks like a ping pong paddle, just a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah. And so, I encourage anybody who is, just even thinking about it, and people go, oh, I'm not really athletically inclined, and I really, I don't think I can do this. Yeah, you can. You can get out there and you can do it.
Do you play, Bobby?
No.
And
No, I don't.
I bet Brenda's beaver would play a little pickleball.
Would play around, wouldn't she?
Thanks, Dr. Domain.
Now, Mom did get one of my children very addicted to pickleball very quickly.
Yeah.
And she has enjoyed it, or used to enjoy it when she was living with me. So,
Bobby, do you exercise?
my mouth.
You run your mouth a lot.
I run from my problems.
I run from situational things. Yeah. So, so you said you've been doing this for about 5 years, and you are considered a pro, of course, because you are on the National Pickleball League, and you just got drafted again, correct?
I did. So the National Pickleball League is, it's for senior professional pickleball over the age of 50. You hear the word senior, you think like it's for seniors. No, it is just a 50 plus. And the National Pickleball League started about 3 years ago. And it is just to encourage a lot of the senior pro pickleballers to compete at a higher level. So I got into it 3 years ago when it first started as a sub. Last year, I got drafted into the Kansas City Stingers team, which was a new team. And then this year, I got drafted by one of the existing teams, which is the Princeton Bruisers. So if you look, Princeton Bruisers.
Yay! Yeah, he's showing us his thermos cup.
All the goodies, we love, us pro players, we love all the goodies.
Yeah.
And,
you get all of the gifts. You get all the gifts.
Swag.
The swag.
Swag. So, so when we travel to a lot of these tournaments as a professional, we get the royal treatments, and a lot of, whether it's the National Pickleball League or whether it's in any other tournaments, just because we've worked so hard to reach this level. And for me, I've started playing professionally about 3 years ago. When I entered the professional circuit, I remember playing against, like some of the younger pros, and oh my God, it was like standing in the court. I was so scared because, it's like all the training that I did over like that summer just all paid off. Of course, I won maybe one game, but hey, you know what? I was happy with it.
One game is good.
Yeah, but when you say, oh, I beat this guy.
Yeah.
I beat like a guy named Deckel Barr. I beat a guy named Rob Nunnery. Those are the big names that you can say, yeah. I mean, Jay Devilier. I beat him in the game down in Kansas City. So those are the young pros that play pickleball, for professionally. Me, I'm just I'm still a network engineer by day. So
Yeah.
this is like
That's your real job. That's your real job. And then you have another job.
Yes, I do have a real job that I have to attend. But pickleball, I fell in love with it. And, for me, I've never done any other professionals before. So kind of diving into it was just something that's fun, entertaining, and the best part, and this is the best part, at least for me, is the people you meet along the way.
I agree with you on that. I started playing probably 5 years ago, and it was right kind of when COVID started to hit, right? So just before, and I was still working, And so I really didn't have time on the court. I didn't have time because I was working. And to be honest with you, me and a mutual friend of ours started playing singles. And we knew nothing about anything. We knew nothing. We didn't know how to hold a paddle. We didn't know anything about the rules. We were playing singles. And I mean, if you play singles, that's a workout, man. That's a crazy workout.
Were you thinking maybe we want to lose some weight, build some muscles? I mean, what is it? Come on, tell us the real reason here, Jay.
It was really just to stay active. And let's face it, 5 years ago, I was probably in a little bit better shape than I am today. So, we really did want to stay in shape. And I think it's a great way for people to get involved. Now, Dr. Domain, I introduced him to pickleball, and he's playing now, which I'm very proud of him because he's doing really great. Bobby, do you think one day you might be interested in playing some pickleball?
Not with you.
That was hurtful.
No, it wasn't meant to be hurtful. It's just you're so damn competitive, and you get out there and you're like, I try, and you're like, that's not how you do it. And I'm just like, oh God, I quit.
So I told everyone here that Saed is my coach, and he's a coach to a lot of people, and he trains people, and he's a great trainer. And he's a great player, and I love playing with him. And we have a blast is the whole thing. And let's face it, I am not in his league. I'm not even remotely close. I'm like the ball girl for him. And
you know what? I'll say that, talk about Jane being competitive. And I agree with you, Bobby. We get out on the court and she's standing on the opposite side. And then she goes, Coach, bring it. I said, you really don't want me to bring it, do you? And she says, yes. And next thing you know, she's getting hit everywhere.
Yeah. So what he does is he hits me so hard with the ball and literally tattoos me. And of course, we all have a good laugh. I have tears running down my face, but we all have a good laugh because, and what have I done to you though? All the players against you, I have always said, if you can body bag him, meaning if you can hit his body with that ball without him getting his paddle up and hitting it back, if you can body bag Saed, I'll pay you $5 for every time you body bag him. I've never paid out yet.
I mean, speaking of tattooing people, you used to tattoo me pretty hard with a softball. So I know how that goes.
That's true. I did play a lot of softball with you. But so, just so people know, Saed, there are obviously rules and there are levels. And so the pro level is like 5.0 and above. I'm not remotely close. I'm like a 3.5. So I'm like an average, maybe a little bit above average player, So typically those of you who do play a harder game like you and some of the other guys and gals that you hang with, you enjoy playing at your level. And I know some people have gotten insulted like, oh, they don't want to play with me. I don't think that, and you can comment on this, but I don't think that it's not that they don't want to play with you. I think our time is valuable. When I go out on the court, I only have so much time, and I want to play hard against somebody. How do you feel about that?
So one of the things, me as a coach, I'm always, the people that I play with, whether it's part of my circle of friends that are in the pro level or anybody, I always get out there and say, if you're not out there having fun and enjoying, playing on the court, then you should not be out here. Pickleball is meant to, build relationships, for you to exercise, meant for you to socialize. And you should not look at, if somebody, I play with people at all levels, just because, I want to get out there and have some fun.
Yeah.
And then as a coach, sometimes I'll throw a challenge. I'll be like, hey, get your paddle up. I'm always, the biggest words I'm always saying, eye on the ball and get your paddle up.
Right.
So to me, if I can, help you in certain way while we're playing and having fun, that means I accomplished something. And that's part of me being, like a pickleball ambassador. It's always fun for me to get out there and encourage people to play pickleball, get involved, and find your groups. If you're gonna sit back and just wait till somebody invites you, you're gonna be sitting down and just kind of like, who's gonna invite me today? Who's gonna invite me tomorrow? So take the initiatives. I tell that to people, don't be scared. Somebody is better than you, to ask them to play. I mean, I always get people ask me to play. If I have the time, I'll go out and play, because I'll play with everybody if you come. And I also go out and invite people to play, just because sometimes I just playing competitive, I can do that so much, but also I want to get out there and just have fun with my friends.
So, getting started, for our listeners who really have heard of it but don't know how to get started, we both belong to several clubs, and you mentioned being an ambassador. I believe, are you the regional ambassador for pickleball?
For the USA Pickleball, I'm the district ambassador for all of Central Iowa.
Okay.
So yes.
And so, when people say, how do I get started? And you're right, they have to take the initiative to get out there. What advice would you give them? Would you tell them to look for beginners classes? Because I like to see beginners playing with beginners, because let's face it, if I ever had to come up against you, or if somebody even had to come up against me that has not played before, we're going to kill them. And nobody wants to get discouraged when they go out to the court.
So there are on the USA Pickleball website, there are sites that tells you where to go play. All these parks that you can go play there for free. Of course, there are other places that you can go, like indoor, to rent courts. But I would suggest get a paddle. I got my first paddle from Amazon for $40. Get a cheap paddle. Get out there and just kind of get a friend or two and say, let's go to this park, and just walk in and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a beginner. I would like to play with other beginners. If you see beginners on the court, just say, can we play together? And just have fun. Don't be scared to ask people to go play on the course, because, everybody's friendly. That's the one thing about pickleball. Anybody you're going to meet along the way, they're just so friendly and want to help you get better and improve your game.
And I think that's an excellent point, because I have met so many fantastic people. Now, let's face it, there's always going to be some a-hole in a sport, right? That is kind of nasty. And Bobby is looking at me like I'm the a-hole, and I'm not, am I? I'm
to
not.
other people, I know that you are fabulous, but when it's your own kid,
yeah.
and you're just like, get your head out of your ass.
Oh, okay. But Dr. Domain, you started here, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and you're doing great. And, what were some of your apprehensions as a new player going out on the court?
Well, I think that's relative when you say good. So I would say I'm okay.
I think you're doing well. I think you're doing well. And, you have to consider, how many times do you get to go out and play? I don't get to go play every single day. If I did, I'd probably be a better player. I don't get to go play every day, and neither do you. And so I figure, based on the amount of time that we spend on the court, now with somebody like Coach, with Saed, he obviously has to be skilled, highly skilled, because he is a part of a National Pickleball League, right? So he has to continue to train and work hard at it. You and I, we hit it when we want to hit it, right? And that's about it. But, what would you say were your apprehensions when you first went out?
One of the things that people don't like to do in pickleball is drilling. And what that means is getting out on the court, finding one other person, and then focus on specific skills.
And when you say drilling, then, Coach, you mean just like, if we talked about dinking, and dinking is really just dropping the ball right over the net, right into the kitchen. And
practice on certain things, whether it's serving, whether it's dinking, whether it's dropping the ball, know where your foot position is. That's very important on the pickleball court, how to move, from one area to the other around the court. And, the biggest one, which, Jane doesn't do, is, sliding.
I'm working on that. I did really well last time we played. Didn't you think I slid? I was sliding.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you might want to work a little bit on sliding. And you know what that means is like you slide on from the right to the left, to the right, to the left. Just think of
Yes,
it. You're
yes.
just country dancing, but you're just country dancing on the pickle court.
Oh, so line dancing, slide to the left, slide to the right.
Right, exactly.
Stand
So
up,
simple.
sit down, fight, fight, fight.
You know, that's something a lot of my I teach a lot of my students. I said, one thing you can do at home, grab a paddle in your hand, sit in front of the TV, and just like watch your favorite show. And as you're doing, just move, slide to the right, slide to the left. So it's simple things that you can do at home to practice on something. Find a wall in your garage, grab a couple of pickleballs. Just they all look like, I'll show you what
They look
like.
like, well, we're not on camera, so nobody can see it,
No,
Saad.
but it looks like it's something that's
A wiffle ball. It looks like a wiffle ball.
So if you think about that, that's grab a ball and just practice at home on with the ball.
Yeah.
Find a partner that you can go out with and you can just play together.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this topic again because we have a pro available to us. And because a lot of people ask me, hey, how can I get started? And we do offer, beginners classes. I think there's a lot of us that help a lot of beginners, show them how to hold a paddle, where to stand, how to play, what the rules are, how to keep score, that sort of thing. And the other part of that is it is such great exercise. And so we want to keep moving as long as we possibly can, right? We want to be mobile.
That's what it is. It's you don't require a lot of skills to move on the court. You could be, 50 years old, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, and you can be out there playing and having fun.
That's right. That's right. So so I have to ask you this though, Coach. So you are originally from Palestine. You were born in Jordan, is that correct?
Palestine. I was born in Palestine.
In Palestine. Okay. And did they have pickleball?
So growing up, my dad played tennis. So I got to learn how to play tennis when I was a very, very young age. And so, but that's the only thing that helped me with coming to the States is, going to college here in Iowa State is I never played anything professionally. So everything we did back in Palestine was just like tennis.
Okay.
It was like soccer, I played soccer for many, many years, like almost 40 years.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us today and talking through this. And, I think all of us would encourage anyone who's interested in playing, or you're just even interested in going out and watching it and getting to, know some people. There's great people out there. They're super nice. They'll definitely help you through it. And, Saad, we're going to have you on the show again because you are from Palestine, and I am so curious about growing up in Palestine and
Absolutely.
what's different between here and America, and I really want to bring you back for that. In the meantime, we appreciate you being with us. And Dr. Domain, did you have any questions that you wanted to?
No, I know everything.
Okay, so you know everything. Well, he thinks he does. So, Saad, tell us again your team name and how we can watch you.
So my National Pickleball League team is the Princeton Bruisers, and how you can watch that, we once a month we play in different parts of the United States, and all the matches are all televised on YouTube.
Okay.
So go on YouTube and you search for the National Pickleball League and look for the different weekends. This coming weekend is in Columbus. Next month is going to be in Florida. So every month we play, and the schedule for every weekend is publicized on the NPL website with the locations and the links to where you can go watch the live streams for all the matches in the National Pickleball League.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good information. And again, we really appreciate. Before we go, though, I do want to know what's my worst habit out on the court besides not sliding? What would you say I need to really work on? Go ahead, Coach.
Probably more, being nice to your partner.
Oh, my God.
I was going to say that. That or profanity.
No, I don't even
Talks
swear
like a
on the
sailor
court.
out
No,
there.
I don't. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I was going to say about the swearing, but, everybody's swearing. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, being nice to my partner. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I think that's probably all we have today, Bobby.
I think that is all the pickleball insanity that we have for today. We do appreciate all of you joining us here at the Rabbit Hole Studio. Be sure to follow us, like us on Facebook, and we look forward to spending time with you each week. If you have some positive feedback for us, or if there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, drop us an email at boomerandgenxer@gmail.com. If you have any hate mail, well, you know where you can put that. So until next week, I'm Bobby Joy.
And I'm Jane Burt.
And you're stuck with us.
Peace out.
Later.
Thank you.